Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today is going to be my February favorites and fails video. I have a lot of favorites to share with you. I had a very good February in regards to finding a lot of great makeup and a few other products as well. I had a few fails as well. You know, this was definitely a month where I had a few products that just did not meet my expectations. They were kind of a real bummer, but we'll get to that. And we also had some in-between products. I didn't put these in any particular order. I didn't want to put all the fails together, all the favorites together. I figured we'll just kind of go through the steps of your makeup routine. And I figure then we'll start with primer. The new primer that I tried this month, this is the Hourglass Vanish Airbrush Primer. I have to admit, I was very excited to try this primer. I had very high expectations because I'm a huge fan of the Hourglass Mineral Veil Primer, which is probably my holy grail primer. It's expensive, but I have yet to be able to find a primer that works as well as that one does. However, I love this one as well. There are a few small differences between the two. Do I think you need to own both of them? No, I'm in no way saying that, but I do think they have different strengths. This new primer, the Vanish Primer, this is very much an airbrush primer. It is meant to make you look airbrushed. It conceals pores. It does not seep into fine lines and wrinkles. It just provides this beautiful canvas to then put your foundation over, and I absolutely love it. Now, the Mineral Veil, which is the primer that's been out for a while now, that has SPF in it. This does not. And it's also more about longevity and withstanding oil production. Now, I am combination oily, so I appreciate that. I really want to manage oil, and this does manage oil as well. But if I had to pick the slight differences, I would say, well, the Mineral Veil has sunscreen for good or for bad, and it probably controls oil a little bit longer if I'm making the direct comparison. But man, the look of my skin after I put this on, it just provides this beautiful canvas, and makeup goes on just so easily over it. So I'm a big fan. I will probably own both of these. Granted, I like to try out makeup as my hobby, so I am not in any way implying you need both of them. But if you're in the market for a really good blurring primer, I would highly recommend checking this one out. I am hoping they offer a mini of this one like they offer the mini of the Mineral Veil. I hope that's coming because I think this would be a great way for people to be able to try it. All right, next, moving into foundations. Just like January seemed to be a foundation month, I think February is definitely a foundation month as well. I wanted to first talk about this foundation from L'Oreal. Now, this has been out for a few months. This was not new this month, but it was new to me. I bought it a few months ago and I kind of forgot about it, and then I tried it out a few times and I kept using it and kept using it. And this is the L'Oreal True Match Nude Hyaluronic Serum Foundation. This seems to be a very hot trend, are these serum foundations, basically foundation with skincare in them. The first few I tried, I wasn't a big fan of. They just slid all over my face. I just didn't feel like they were meant for combination oily folks. But this one, I really, really like. It feels so hydrating on the skin. It doesn't slide around. It lasts several hours on me. It is not, I would not call it a long wearing foundation, but it is a beautiful foundation and such a great option, especially in the winter. The second foundation I tried, unfortunately, was a huge fail for me. I actually even already returned it, so I'm just gonna put a picture up on the screen. This is the e.l.f. Camo Powder Foundation. I had really high hopes for this foundation. I used to use a powder foundation all the time, and I kind of moved away from them, and recently I've started to kind of find my way back, and I had such high expectations, and I could not get this to work for me. For some reason, it would stick to any texture, any dry patches. It found dry patches I didn't even know I had, and I felt like it put a spotlight on my texture. I tried it out a bunch of different times. I got it to work kind of, sorta, but it just didn't work for me. So unfortunately that was a fail. And it made me go back to the other powder foundations that I have tried over the last several months, just to make sure I wasn't crazy, just to make sure it wasn't just me. And it just kind of re-emphasized the fact that yes, This is just not a great powder foundation for me. If you were the same, if you tried this and it didn't work for you, or you're just hesitant about trying it, if you're looking for a good powder foundation, I would recommend the one from Fenty Beauty. This is her Pro Filter Soft Matte Powder Foundation. This is such a better product. It just provides this gorgeous look to the skin. And if you would like a drugstore option, another great option would be the L'Oreal Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear Powder Foundation. This also is just a better option. It's just looks better on the skin, doesn't attach itself to dryness. It's just such a better product, frankly. The last foundation I tried out this month, this was from Tarte. This was their Shape Tape Cloud Coverage. This is one of those in the middle products. I first tried it out a few times with a brush and I hated it. It was streaky. I just couldn't get it to behave itself using a brush. And a brush is my preferred way of application. But when I tried it out with my fingers and specifically with a sponge, it did behave a lot better. I got it to work on my skin. Is this gonna break my top 5? No. It does provide a really nice finish. It's pretty long lasting. I wouldn't refer to this as like a super long lasting foundation, but at the same time, it was nice. I just had to really work at it, and I'm not exactly sure how much I like working at stuff anymore, because I found some foundations where I just don't have to work nearly as hard. Will I keep using this? Yeah, I really like it. I like the finish. I like the longevity, but is it gonna break my top 5? No. That's why I'm kind of like, this is just kind of in the middle. Moving on to face products, I do have an update from my January favorites and fails. In January, I tried out some new products from Rare Beauty, and specifically I tried out her bronzing stick, and I did not have good things to say about it. I did say that part of the problem was the shade. I had picked this up in the shade Happy Soul, which is supposed to be a light brown for a cool undertone. And I have a more neutral undertone, and I didn't think it was gonna be a problem, but it just showed up super orange on me. And I went back and forth about, do I get a different shade? Do I not? And I finally said, you know what? I'm gonna get a different shade. I'm gonna give this a chance. And I am so glad I did. I picked this up in Power Boost, which is more for a neutral undertone. And I have been using this nonstop. This is such a beautiful formula. I'm so glad I gave this another try. And this is just such a great example of sometimes, our first impressions aren't valid. Tone, shade, all of those things can play a really big role. And I'm so glad I tried this again, because this is a beautiful product, and it did blend out a lot easier on me the second time around, and I got a better shade, and all is right in the world. So moving on to the rest of my face products, you know already that I raved about some of these products in the new Tarte Spring Bloom collection, and I still feel the same way. I love their Amazonian clay blushes. The shade Bloom is a beautiful shade. This is a special edition, a limited edition shade, but if you're in the market for a good blush, I highly recommend this formula. It just reinforced how much I love this blush. One of my other big favorites from this month was this Shimmering Light highlighter in the shade Rose Gold. This is also from Tarte. Man, I said in that video that I don't think about Tarte and highlighter. That is just not something I think about with the brand. And this is just so beautiful. And I was so surprised by it. I just love it. And I'm gonna kind of show you a little bit here, but I fell in love with it. I think it's so beautiful. It does not accentuate texture, which if you're over the age of 35 is something you're looking for in a blush. And it's just such a beautiful tone. I love the fact that there's a little pinkiness to it. So many blushes are more champagne-y, which don't get me wrong, I love that look too. And the other shade in this is a champagne glow shade. But I just think this is special. I think this kind of rosy pink highlight in this formula, even in this packaging, which is amazing, I just think it's really special. Also from that same collection, I picked up the Maracuja Juicy Lip in the shade Bloom. Again, I love this formula. If you're looking for a really moisturizing lip balm with a great applicator, I think that this is a great option for you. Again, the shade Bloom is beautiful, but they have a bunch of other shades that are really nice too. So if you're in the market for something like this is a great formula. And then finally in that collection, you already know I love this too. This is the Tartelette Baby Bloom. I'm such a big fan of Tarte's eyeshadow formula, and this is no exception. The mattes are powdery, but not chalky. They're easy to work with, but they're not so heavily pigmented that you're gonna mess it up and mess up the whole eye look and have to start over. The shimmers are just beautiful. You can use a brush with them versus having to use your fingers, which, you know, is a pro or a con, depending on how you like to apply your eyeshadow. This is just such a great travel palette. It's great for beginners. It's just, you can't mess it up. So I'm a big fan of this. Now we get to my other major fail this month. If you watched my videos, you know I tried out some of the products from the new e.l.f. Cookies and Dreams collection. One of those was the Cookies and Dreams eyeshadow palette. I have already gotten rid of this. I actually gave it to my daughter. She didn't like it. She gave it to one of her friends. This did not work for me. I was so bummed about it too, because I love the color story. I thought it was super interesting and different. And I was really hoping the formula would be very similar to their bite-size eyeshadow palettes, and it just wasn't. It was chalky, it was patchy, it was difficult to work with, and it just didn't live up to my expectations. So that I got rid of very quickly. I tend to not keep makeup I do not like, and this was definitely something that I did not like. The rest of the things I tried from that collection, there wasn't anything amazing about it, but there wasn't anything bad about it either. I tried the Cookies and Dreams lip gloss. This is just a nice gloss. I do like the tone of this. I think if you're wearing a lipstick that's a little warm and you wanna make it a little cooler, I think this is a great option, but I wouldn't run to Ulta and grab this because it's okay. And this Cookies and Dreams No Budge eyeshadow stick, again, I liked it. I will continue to use it, but I don't think it's anything special. It's not something I would run out and say, oh, this is a hero product of e.l.f. or anything like that. So from NYX this month, I tried their Thick It, Stick It brow gel, or it's called a brow mascara. Yeah, thickening brow mascara. I really like this. Now I said in the video where I reviewed this that it was gonna take me a little bit to get used to this brush. You can see it's a lot bigger than some of the brushes I like to use. I do really like it. I think it works really well. My brows do not move, they stay in place, but I don't get that like crazy crunchy brow that I absolutely hate. So far, so good. I don't know if this will become one of my favorites just because I have to be more careful when I use it, but I do like it and I think it's a great drugstore option if you're looking for a good brow gel. Next, let's talk about this. Natasha Denona, her Mini Crush. This is a special edition for Valentine's Day. I really enjoyed this. I know it's got some mixed reviews, but I loved it. I felt like it absolutely matched the formula that I expected. I think that this shade in the middle, Koi, is really, really special. I love how much depth it provides, especially in that outer V. And this shimmer, oh, I loved it. I don't have anything like this in my collection, and I don't have anything like that shimmer in my Natasha Denona minis or in my midi palettes as well. So I really think this was worth it. I'm so glad I picked it up, and I will continue to use it. Finally, in makeup, I picked up the NARS Afterglow Lip Shine. I love this formula. This is a huge favorite. I'm actually thinking about picking up one or two more shades. This is in the shade Unbroken, which is like a mauve with a little bit of a gold sheen to it. And I'm thinking about picking up one or two of the matte shades as well that aren't shimmery. This is not super gold. It's not gold glitter on your lips or anything, but I love this formula so much that I think having a matte option would be really, really good for me. This is amazing. It is hydrating. It is silky smooth. It is not sticky, which again, if you've watched my channel, you know part of what I like and I don't like has to do with texture. Like I don't like crunchy brows, for example. I don't like sticky lips, and I don't like tacky primers. And this is a great example of a product that I feel like was made for me because it doesn't have that stickiness or it doesn't get caught in your hair. So if you are in the market for a great lip gloss, this is a beautiful one. So believe it or not, I don't have any skincare updates or hair care updates to share with you. I just actually am about to film a Sephora haul, which I picked up a few different hair care products that I'm going to be trying out. You can watch for that. And for March, I will definitely have some updates on some of the different hair care products. In regards to skincare takes a lot longer to try out. So I am trying out a few products, but I never like to make quick decisions on skincare. I think that you need to try these products out for good 2, 4, 6, sometimes even 8 weeks before you make real decisions on them. But I do have 2 different products to talk about in regards to lifestyle. So first one is perfume. Again, if you've watched my channel, you know I'm a huge perfume fan. And I had looked at this perfume. I had put it on my Christmas list and my birthday list, and I ended up not getting it. And so I went back and forth and hemmed and hawed, and I finally picked it up. This is from Lancome. This is the original Idole Eau de Parfum. Now I know they have some flankers out. They have an intense version of this, and then they have Idole Aura, which is a very different perfume. Although it has Idole on it, it's still a very different perfume. You'll notice I have the smaller 25 ml, the 50 ml is longer. It's that longer flat bottle. Because I am a perfume addict, I love perfumes. I tend to purchase smaller sizes just because I want to try out so many different perfumes. If I can buy it in a smaller size, I probably will. But this is such a beautiful spring perfume. I've definitely been wearing it in the winter. It is a jasmine, rose, and white musk perfume. There's a tiny little bit of vanilla on the base, but it's really a jasmine and rose perfume. What's beautiful about this is that the rose is a very bright rose. It's more of a watery, bright rose. This is not your grandma's rose. This is so modern and beautiful. And I find it to be very sophisticated, very classy, but I don't find it old at all. I think this is a very crisp and new rose that they're trying to convey here, and they do a beautiful job. If you like rose perfumes, if you want something brighter and elevated, I definitely think you should give this a try. And then finally, in lifestyle, this is a product that I don't think I ever would have picked out for myself. At work, I got a gift for Christmas, and it was this Ember mug. And I read about it and I was like, this is the bougiest thing I've ever heard of. It's a mug that is battery operated. It comes with a charging station, and it keeps your coffee, tea warm. Y'all, this has an app that you can literally program the temperature at which you want to keep your coffee hot or your tea hot. I never thought I would like this. I got it as I laughed about it. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so funny. I love it now. I am definitely that person who on the weekend will pour a cup of coffee and then have to warm it in the microwave 4 times in a period of 2 hours because I drink it slow, I forget about it, I'm doing other things. And this was the answer to that. You have it on a charging station, you put your coffee in it, you program it with the app, and it's going to keep your coffee hot for literally an hour and a half at a time. This was such a great gift, but it's something I don't think I ever would have bought for myself. I would have laughed if someone had suggested I get it, and now I'm obsessed with it. So if you're like me and you warm up your coffee all the time and all of that, check this out. So that's it, you guys. I hope you really enjoyed this February favorites and fails. I love testing out new makeup. I love testing out skincare and hair care and all of that. My goal with my channel is always I want you to spend your hard-earned money, if you're in the market, on good products. And part of my hope is to be able to sort through the good, the not so great, and frankly, the ugly. So make sure you subscribe to my channel, give this video a like, it really helps me out. And I hope to see you again in my next video. Bye, you guys.